Hey guys, welcome back to the Brothers Boyd. I'm Josh. We've got Daniel and Chris here with us today, and this is another one of our hot reads of the weeks. I have been looking at several books recently. I went through a stack of comics the last 3 days. I read everything I had from about 3 months back trying to catch up. And this afternoon, I had a chance to sit down and look at Dark Knights of Steel. I'm actually about 7 months behind on that one because I was trying to wait until it came out, all the full run, but I decided to go ahead and read it, and I'm glad I did. Dark Knights of Steel is written by Tom Taylor, and art and colors are done by Yasmin Putri. It takes the DC universe and does what Tom Taylor does so well. He goes into an alternate reality. It is the DC universe in medieval times. From the very beginning, I knew something was going to be different when you see Krypton and they're loading up the ship, and when the ship crashes on Earth, it opens, and Laura is still pregnant and about to give birth to Kal-El, and Jor-El and Laura both came to Earth. They had the baby, and they landed in what looks to be medieval England. Um, from there on, we get a pretty interesting story because they go into hiding, learning about these people and learning their language, and they stay in hiding for years until they can actually come out because there's a volcano about to erupt, and they are living in the kingdom of Martha and Thomas Wayne. Well, in the book, you wind up with varying things happening, and you have their kingdom. You have what's known as the Kingdom of Storms, which is ruled over by Jefferson Pierce, Black Lightning, and he has two daughters and a son who have elemental powers. And then you also have the Kingdom of the Amazons, ruled over by Hippolyta. Um, Throughout the book, you get a really great medieval story. I love the way, like, Batman is a knight, Bruce is a knight, and Alfred travels with him. They did a good job with the armor, making it look like the Batman suit. His helmet even has ears on it. The color schemes for Superman are the red, blue of his outfit, even though it's a medieval outfit. And Tom Taylor did a great job of introducing these characters in a whole new reality. Of course, the kryptonite is an issue for Superman, but the other issue for Superman is a big deal in medieval times because there was a lot of magic around, and magic is a weakness that Superman and the elves have. So there's really a struggle with that. They do a good job of telling a story, introducing characters in new ways. You get the DC universe, you get these characters. You have a Luther, um, you have all these characters, the Amazons. You have a Supergirl, not the Supergirl we know, but you have a Supergirl there. And there's a lot of intrigue and things you would expect. Um, Chris, you've read this one. Would you say it's Game of Thrones without all the sex?
Yeah, I think so. Great Game of Thrones without all the sex and a little bit less violence,
Yeah.
but just a great medieval fantasy book. If you enjoy that kind of crossover thing, it's like one of the best Elseworld stories I've ever read. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
So
I love the fact that DC is doing Elseworlds without doing Elseworlds. They're doing these
yeah,
movies that are encapsulated, and they tell a story. And when they hand Tom Taylor a book and he's not hampered by continuity, he can do whatever he wants and it works well. I won't give any spoilers, but there's a lot of surprises throughout the book, a lot of things that really just grab you. Um, when we finally reach, I believe it's about issue 5, we're introduced to Jonathan and Martha Kent. And it's interesting to see a Superman who was not raised by them, but raised by Jor-El and Laura, and to see that Jonathan and Martha Kent are the same people taking in and helping people who are in need.
yeah. I thought that was a great aspect of the story. Like I said, really fun. It's like they gave Tom Taylor the whole toy box and said, "Here, go have fun."
Yes.
And in the same vein as what John Favreau and Dave Filoni are doing with Star Wars, I think Tom Taylor's doing that with the DC characters in this story.
And yeah, he's playing with all the toys. It's really well done. It's really well written. If you hadn't had a chance to pick this up, I know they've been doing some reprints of it. As far as doing like a couple issues in one. I know in a couple of months we're getting ready to get a trade with the first 6 issues in there. So if you missed out on this one, this will be a good one to pick up. I just felt like this is such a great story, so well done. I've enjoyed Taylor's work, and I'm really excited to see where he goes next with it.
Yeah, and kudos to Yasmin Putri as well. Her artwork is incredible in this. Not only in the book, but also the covers. They reach out and grab you. There's some really great covers too. A lot of times you look for that variant cover to buy when you see a book come out. But in this case, her covers, the A covers, have been just amazing. You don't even need to pick up the variant covers.
Oh yeah, I've definitely enjoyed all the A covers on this. And I don't know, her art style just fits with the medieval. It looks
Right.
like a medieval story.
I have not read the series yet, so I'm very quiet on this, but I definitely do think her artwork that I have seen for it is incredible. And when I get around to reading it, I'm ready to just soak up as much of that beautiful work that she's doing as possible.
Right, right. Anybody who's going to read this, if listening, and leave us a comment down what you think. But take your time reading these and really just enjoy the artwork because it's a beautiful, beautifully drawn and beautifully told story. Speaking of covers, I'm gonna jump in here and talk about what I'm reading right now, and the particular comic I chose this week is this comic is known for its covers and has been known for its covers for quite some time. But I recently picked up the new run of She-Hulk comics, and the first thing that grabs you is the cover. There's some really great covers for She-Hulk. The one I'm going to talk about today is 4, but I kind of want to give you an overview on the first 4 because there's actually 5 out now. I've read them all, but 4 was kind of the one that I had a lot of fun reading. There's a lot of good surprises in there. I'll share with you. And uh, but basically, what the premise of this new She-Hulk, which let me go ahead and say the writer is Rainbow Rowell, and the artist is Luca Maresca, and the color artist is Rico Renzi, and they are all doing a great job just with the artwork and the story. And so basically, what's happened is we get the She-Hulk who has been a part of the Avengers for a while, has been a part of the Fantastic Four, but has kind of left all that behind and has come back to being a lawyer and has been hired by a former kind of friend enemy named Mallory Book, who sorry about that, who who runs a law firm, and she has hired Jennifer to come work for her. But her one stipulation is no superhumans. You can't have any superhuman clients, and we're talking about She-Hulk now, so it's kind of how do you do that, you know? So from book 1, what we learn, one of the first people she runs into when she's going back to her old life is Titania. And as they're talking, she said, "Well, we're not really enemies anymore, so what do we do?" And they said, "Well, maybe we just need to blow off some steam every once in a while." So they agreed to start a She-Hulk, Titania slash whoever wants to come fight club about once a month where they just blow off steam and fight each other. They called it a lunch date. So we get to book 4. Things have been going on. One of the main plots that's been going on. If you read Marvel any recently, there was a character named Jack of Hearts who basically went up to space and exploded because he absorbs radiation, and he actually absorbed all of She-Hulk's radiation from her at one time. And so he was, in order to save everyone, he goes up into space and explodes. But in the end of book 1, he kind of shows up at Jennifer's doorstep again. So he's not drawing the radiation the way he used to. So they know something's going on and they're trying to figure it out. But book 4 starts actually with the Fight Club. We see Titania and She-Hulk fighting each other, and Titania has brought Volcana with her, and Jennifer's like, "Well, I didn't expect you to bring a friend." She said, "Well, I brought backup in case you brought backup." So they go through, they have their little fight, but in the middle of the fight, of all the people to show up, Ben Grimm shows up as the Thing, thinking that Jennifer needs help, and pretty much knocks out Titania. So and then by the end of the first part of the story, they're all talking. And he's like, "Hey, I didn't know you were having a fight club. I'd like to be part of this too, and we should get shirts or jackets or something." And one of the girls says, "This is not a what does she say? It's a club. It's not a gang." So so that's a really fun aspect they have. But even though Jennifer says, "Hey, I don't want to help Meadows," of course, or not, well, Meadows, extra human, superhuman. I called him the DC name, but anyway, she winds up getting like all kinds of people. First off, she has to help the Thing, and then he's like, when she gets done meeting him for lunch, he said, "It's okay, I've sent some friends your way." So she walks back into the office, and um, I'll save it. I'll put a picture up, but the plethora of heroes that are in the office waiting for her. She totally freaks out. "Get out of here. Mallory doesn't want you in here," and all this stuff. And she basically agrees, "I'll help you guys out, but I got to do it on the fly. I can't do it in front of Mallory," and stuff like that. So it's really good. There's some really great artwork. I'll share some of that with you. But the whole point of this book going on forward has been Jonathan Hart, or the Jack of Hearts, as he's called. They're trying to figure out why his power is the way it is and why he came back. And so you kind of dig into that a little bit in this story. They're trying to figure out why he's come back. There's a short kind of romance aspect to it where I think he's come back because he's in love with her, and I think that's what's brought him back. And so you just kind of read through. Really good story. There's only 5 out right now, so it'd be really easy to catch up on these. It's a really good precursor for you if you don't know who She-Hulk is. We only got a couple more days, maybe 10 or 11 or less at most, and we're going to get She-Hulk uh, on Disney Plus. So if you want to kind of see who She-Hulk is, kind of figure out what's going on with her and stuff like that, just grab this book. It's really good. I've enjoyed it so far. And with it only being 5 issues out, it's really easy to just jump right in and start reading. Um, Daniel, what have you been reading this weekend? What are we going to talk about?
Hey, Chris, before you go there, is She-Hulk breaking the fourth wall in those issues?
She has not really broken the fourth wall. There's a lot of talk over. So we're not really getting the Burn style fourth wall breaking like we had. I feel like it could come. There is a whole monologue going on with the reader that we're getting in like a speech block form, but we're not. She's not actually talking to us, the reader, yet. So hopefully they'll break that fourth wall, and we'll see how it goes from there.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I think that's one of the funny parts about She-Hulk.
Yeah. Her first
Definitely.
cover, she actually did break the fourth wall on the cover, but inside the story so far, we haven't had that fourth wall break yet.
Maybe soon. I was actually going to ask you that too before we started, but that's kind of disappointing. But hopefully so, especially with it looks like the Disney Plus series, she is going to break the fourth wall at least a little bit from what I've seen so far. But
Yeah, I have seen a couple of things there where she is breaking the fourth wall, so I'm excited about that. So.
I guess we'll move over to what I've been reading this week. I'm about midway through Twig, so I'm not ready to talk about that just yet. But I have finished up with everything that's come out with Dark Crisis, and we're going to talk about those 3 issues today. I'm just going to give a general overview and try not to spoil too much here. But Dark Crisis is the DC Summer Event series by Joshua Williamson, Daniel Sampere, and colors by Alejandro Sanchez, I believe. And for starters, this book looks incredible, and it's very classic DC style art, in my opinion. Sam Perry really does nail that look. His Superman looks incredible. Like all his heroes look great. He has that attention to detail that George Perez had. I just really am enjoying the art quite a bit in this series. And Joshua Williamson is like kind of the heir apparent to Jeff Johns as far as DC goes, in my opinion. So like just the way he structures this event doesn't feel like a fatigue regular event style book, in my opinion. Every issue feels like there's some story to be told here. Um, the first issue, the real story of the first issue is that basically, we talked about it about a month or so ago about the death of the Justice League, and this is kind of the fallout from it. You're having they had the memorial out there, and all the heroes gathered together, and really it all comes down to Jonathan and Nightwing coming out and talking about how we kind of need a Justice League. So Jonathan goes out and tries to find a Justice League, and most of the issue is spent showing Jonathan trying to find the Justice League, and Nightwing kind of goes off and does his thing with the Titans. But it's really fun to watch him try to put the Justice League together, because everybody's kind of like, I don't know about you. You still seem like a kid to me. And then the people he does kind of get is like Harley Quinn and Booster Gold and Blue Beetle and the younger Blue Beetle. So we got two Blue Beetles on this Justice League. And like, I love that every time you see this, the Blue Beetle and Booster Gold, Ted Cord and Booster Gold are always hugging each other and just happy and smiling to be together. It's just so great to see. But they all do form their Justice League, and towards the end they're just they approach Black Adam, and Black Adam's just like, yeah, I'm not sure this is really a Justice League. I don't think you guys are really prepared for this. But
he calls them all children.
yes, he does. He calls them all children, even though I think Booster Gold's technically way older than him. But let's see. That kind of was like the main portion of the book, and then at the end you see Nightwing go back to the Titan Tower, and Titan Tower falls under siege by Deathstroke at the end of the issue, and something happens in that issue that just shocked me. And it's not a death. I was scared it was, but it's not a death. But it's really shocking, and like my jaw just said drop for a moment when I saw that. And that kind of leads us into the second issue, where the majority of the portion of the second issue is about the siege on the Titan Towers. And like, there is a fight that is just incredible between Nightwing and Deathstroke in this. That just the panel layout, the fight itself is brutal. Like, just the way they laid out the panels and showing everything is just incredible. There's a double page spread, and we will put that up on the screen hopefully to show you what it looked like, because it's incredible to watch, to witness. But that's like the majority of that, and they kind of come to a stalemate, but Nightwing's on the verge of losing before Pariah comes up and tells and pulls him away and says, "Hey, I don't want any of the heroes dead. I don't want you to kill anybody. Come back. We need to start a crisis." And that's where they kind of retreat back in their form and everything. And really, also, I'm kind of like glossing over the fact that really the only thing that kind of saved the Titans was Jonathan coming up at the very last moment and saving everybody. Jonathan is the real deal. I love Jonathan. Like, now, I think Tom Taylor did a lot to really help booster him and really ease the pain of the late teenage Jonathan and losing all that kid Jonathan stuff. Because I'm really enjoying his run with Jonathan at the age he is right now. But that's really the main focus of that. There's one other thing in this issue that kind of ends off with Hal kind of recruiting the Green Lantern Corps back together again, and there's just an awesome sequence that he just I can tell that Joshua Williamson's a child of the 90s. He grew up in the 90s reading DC Comics, because he gave Kyle Rayner a time to shine in this issue, and like Kyle
That's
Rayner really
awesome.
does pull off one of the most awesome moves in this issue, and he kind of as he kind of escapes this being in prison basically, and as he's escaping, Hal says, "I've come to rescue you." He's like, "But it doesn't look like you need rescuing because you've done it all yourself. But do you want to come fly with us into space?" And he's like, "Sure." And that's kind of where it leaves off in the second issue. But the third issue, I feel like this is kind of like the calm before the storm, really. I think the fourth issue is something like major is about to happen because I know the chat title's changing to Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. But this issue is really about I mean, the Green Lantern Corps up here, but they're not in the issue a lot. They're more this issue was more about the training and getting the seeing how Jonathan does with his Justice League, especially under the tutelage of Black Adam, who's kind of taken over the team. And really, the team is very dysfunctional. They don't really listen to anybody. They don't listen to Black Adam, and the Black Adam's like, I can't do it. I can't deal with these kids. And that kind of leads us to Black Adam finding other help to help with this crisis right now. And also, there is something where this issue does hint that they figured out what the crisis is, but they're not really saying. But Deathstroke does come up in a portion of the story and say, hey, I have an idea of how to start a crisis, and that kind of leaves it there. So I think next issue we're probably really going to get what the crisis is. But the main gist of this is there's the ending of this issue brings together some characters that I don't really want to spoil because like that last page is really
A
awesome.
great
But
spread.
yeah, it's
It's
a
a
great
great
spread.
spread.
I I really think you should get the issue because I'm not even going to put it up here, but it's really gonna throw a spanner in the works, so to speak, for what's going on with all the heroes and the villains now. And really, I mean, like the whole gist of the story too, I think is just to show the generations and why they're important and everything. And I really do like the focus on Dick Grayson and Jonathan Kent. They seem to be the backbone of the series, and really, there's also a lot of people that are like, I don't think the Justice League is dead. And there is a little hint in this issue with something that happens during the Green Lantern Corps in issue 3 that there might not be dead.
Yeah.
There's something that they're showing that where you might be like, okay, well, this is actually what happened here. But once again, I think you should read it. I think it's a fantastic event. I think every issue has something going on in it to where it feels like this is a story in and of itself that adds to the overarching story. So I'm really enjoying that aspect of it so far too. I think Jonathan Williamson's a great person to shepherd DC right now. Um, and I know, Josh, you've read this. You read it and caught up. I don't think you have yet, have you, Chris?
No, I have not read this one yet. I think the
Okay.
last thing I read was Road to Dark Crisis, and that's the last thing I
Yeah,
read.
Daniel,
yeah,
they really lean into legacy in this. They throw that term around a lot. And you were talking about how Tom Taylor had done such a good job with Jonathan. Don't forget his work on Nightwing too. He's really done great
Yeah,
work with Dick.
absolutely.
I,
Um,
I, I really need to read Nightwing. I like saw the first like hardcover sitting in the comic shop when I was there last Wednesday, and like I was so tempted to pick it up, but bills and stuff. So I think that might be something I'm gonna try to grab onto Saturday probably.
when I
Yeah, it seems like Nightwing is that book that everyone should be reading, but no one is reading. But I just basically picked up the one shot Nightwing they did, where it was like a one continuous story across the book, and even that is just done so remarkably well.
Yeah,
Bruno Redondo is drawing that, and he's doing a fantastic job.
his sense of design is one of the best in comics. Like,
Yeah.
just the way he, like, designs and sets up panels and everything like that, it's on a different level from a lot of other people.
I was gonna say
So
the crossover they did between Superman, Son of Kal-El, and Nightwing, where they did the 2 issues together. The team
yeah,
up between Nightwing and Jonathan is great. And actually, in I believe it was in Road to Dark Crisis today, I read there's a little spot in there with Jonathan and Dick sitting down and eating together, and they
Yes,
kind of have to team up and fight. And
yes,
I want more of that. They're
yes. That
building the world's finest relationship between Dick and Jonathan, and I really liked that.
yeah.
yes.
So for everybody who's watching this video and are interested, Josh, you first. Dark Knights of Steel. Can you tell the listeners and the watchers how many episodes or how many issues that's going to be total?
There are 7 out now, and there's a total of 12 issues coming for that one.
Right, and there is one shot that I know of that's coming out next month on that. I think we're going to get a look at the 3 main Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, the Trinity, when they were younger in that story. So I'm looking forward to that. Daniel, Dark Crisis. I know there's a lot of crossovers, but the main book itself.
The main book itself is 7 issues. There's a 6-issue Young Justice series. I've read the first issue of that. I'm about to read issue 2, maybe tonight or tomorrow. There are several one shots covering the Justice League coming as well. And there is a few tie-in issues of the Flash. I think like 3 tie-in issues of the Flash. But that's pretty much it. That's not as heavy as some crossovers are being really. That was definitely
No,
not death metal. Good
Yeah,
gracious, that
yeah.
had a lot.
no, it's not death metal or King in Black. That's for sure. Yeah, they tend to tie in a lot and grab a lot of our money. I think I did Heroes Reborn last year, and I think there was 19 books in that run, quite a bit. Uh, but that was a fun read as well. Like I said, my She-Hulk, we're on the issue number 5. Issue number 6 comes out in the next couple of weeks, so that one will be real easy to go back and grab too. Um, all of this stuff you can grab at your local comic book store if you have one nearby. Go give them your money. Don't go to Walmart and buy the packs in there. We need to keep these local shops open. They got some great comics in Walmart, but with some different variants. But the local shops is where it's at. That's where we need to be keeping these
If you
guys
go
in
to
business.
Walmart to buy comics, go online. I know that Marvel Comics is the website will point you to your well, they used to have it at the bottom of the page. I haven't been in quite a while, but they used to have it a comic shop locator at the bottom of their webpage that you just put in your address and they would show you all the comic shops in the area that you live close to. So it's definitely a good resource if you're looking for a comic shop.
Right, and don't be afraid to drive a town or two over to find a good one because there's going to be things that you can get there that you're not going to find in your local WalMarts and things like that. So, Josh, you want to wrap us up on this one?
Yeah, guys. Make sure you're clicking that like and subscribe button. I know it sounds crazy, but it helps with the analytics. We today I saw have had 1,000 views. We have 82 subscribers, and we've had a lot of comments. But like and subscribe, comment. It really helps with the analytics. It helps us to know what we're getting and what we're seeing. Check out our social media. That'll be across the bottom of the screen here, and you can see us at the shop.